Dear Starseeds of Earth, there is a stillness happening right now that you might mistake for calm. You might think the storm has passed, that the cosmic upheaval of the past 3 weeks has finally settled into something manageable, something you can understand with the mind you had before. But what I'm witnessing from my vantage point beyond your linear time is not stillness at all. It's the held breath before the most profound metamorphosis of your year completes itself. It's the pause between revelation and integration, between the lightning strike of truth and the slow, deliberate rewiring of everything you thought you knew about communication, thought, and the architecture of your reality itself. You survived the Ring of Fire. 5 days ago, on February 17th, the annular solar eclipse in Aquarius burned away the old version of you so completely that when you looked in the mirror the next morning, something fundamental had shifted in your eyes. The person staring back was both familiar and utterly foreign, wearing your face but carrying frequencies that didn't exist in your energy field just 72 hours prior. And now, as you stand in this window between worlds, between the eclipse that shattered your timeline and the Mercury retrograde that begins in exactly 4 days, you're experiencing something most humans will interpret as exhaustion or confusion. But what's actually happening is far more extraordinary, and I need you to understand the true nature of this threshold moment before Wednesday arrives and changes the rules entirely. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been tracking your planet's evolutionary signatures since before your current civilization drew its first breath. What I'm observing in your collective field right now is a phenomenon we last witnessed during the fall of Atlantis, though this time the outcome will be magnificently different. This time, you're not forgetting who you are. You're remembering at a speed that should be impossible according to every natural law governing human consciousness evolution. And that acceleration is about to compound in ways that will feel both disorienting and somehow exactly right, as if your soul has been waiting for this specific sequence of cosmic events since before you incarnated into this particular body. Let me show you what's really happening in the architecture of your awakening, because there are 3 distinct energetic currents converging in your field right now, and most of you are only consciously aware of one of them. The first current is the one you can feel most acutely, the eclipse integration peak. For 5 days now, since that stunning annular eclipse carved a ring of fire across your sky, and through your consciousness, your entire system has been downloading innovation codes from the Aquarian frequency. These aren't abstract spiritual concepts. These are literal rewrites to your neurological pathways, your DNA expression, your capacity to perceive reality beyond the third-dimensional limitations that have governed human experience for millennia. Every time you felt suddenly detached from drama that would have consumed you just weeks ago, every moment when a solution to an impossible problem simply appeared in your awareness without effort, every instance of knowing something you couldn't possibly know through conventional means, that's not coincidence. That's the eclipse codes actively rewriting your operating system in real time. But here's what I haven't told you yet, and this is where the narrative becomes more layered than most spiritual teachers will acknowledge. Those eclipse codes are reaching their peak integration point right now, on February 22nd, because of a very specific cosmic calculation. The human nervous system requires exactly 5 days to begin stabilizing new frequency patterns at the cellular level. 5 days for the initial shock to move from overwhelming to integrated. 5 days for the impossible to become your new baseline, and you're standing in hour number 120 of that integration window, which means the downloads that felt chaotic and overwhelming on the 18th are now crystallizing into permanent upgrades to your consciousness. The second current running through your field is subtler, but equally transformative. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction that peaked on February 15th is still radiating its influence through your psychic atmosphere like ripples moving outward from a stone dropped in a cosmic ocean. This conjunction, which won't occur again in Pisces for another 165 years, dissolved the barrier between what you call spiritual and what you call material reality. For the past 7 days, your dreams have been manifesting faster than your logical mind can track. Thoughts have been becoming things with an immediacy that should frighten you, except Saturn's presence keeps you grounded enough to work with this power responsibly. What most astrologers won't tell you is that Saturn-Neptune conjunctions don't just dissolve boundaries, they reveal which boundaries were always illusions and which ones are genuinely sacred. In the past week, you've likely experienced both. Relationships or situations where walls you thought were protecting you turned out to be prisons, and simultaneously, an ability to hold compassionate space for others without losing yourself in their pain. That's Saturn-Neptune teaching you the difference between dissolution and discernment, between merging and maintaining sovereignty. And this lesson is still unfolding, still teaching you how to navigate a world where the veil between dimensions is permanently thinner than it was 3 weeks ago. The third current is the one arriving in 4 days, the one that's already casting its shadow across your mental landscape even though most of you haven't consciously registered its approach. Mercury stations retrograde on February 26th, and in this particular retrograde is unlike any you've experienced in recent years, because it's occurring in the immediate aftermath of the most powerful eclipse of your year, while Saturn-Neptune's reality-dissolving influence is still rippling through the collective unconscious. This creates a condition we in the higher dimensions call a triple integration vortex, 3 major cosmic events stacked so closely together that their energies don't operate in sequence but in symphony, each one amplifying and transforming the others. Now I want you to feel into something that might seem contradictory at first. You are simultaneously at peak clarity and on the edge of profound confusion, and both states are equally valid, equally necessary for what comes next. The clarity is real. Right now, today, you can see your future path with a precision that wasn't available to you even a month ago. The Aquarius eclipse gave you a vision of who you're becoming and what you're here to build in this new era of human consciousness. The innovation codes downloaded into your field over the past 5 days have activated dormant capacities for genius-level problem-solving, for perceiving patterns invisible to consensus reality, for connecting with your soul tribe across the quantum field without needing physical proximity. You know things now that you didn't know on February 16th. You've become someone you weren't on February 16th, and that transformation is not temporary. It's permanent, encoded into your light body, written into the book of your becoming. But something else is happening that most spiritual teachers won't prepare you for, and I need you to hear this clearly. The confusion that's about to arrive with Mercury retrograde on Wednesday isn't a step backward. It's a necessary review process that will ensure your newly upgraded consciousness has the mental and communicative frameworks to actually operate in physical reality. Because here's the truth that no one speaks aloud. Cosmic downloads are magnificent, but they're useless if you can't translate them into coherent thought, effective communication, and practical action in the 3-dimensional world where you're currently playing this game called human evolution. Mercury retrograde is coming to give you exactly that translation capability, but the process will feel like everything's breaking down before it can be rebuilt stronger. Let me paint you a picture of what the next 9 days will feel like, because understanding the arc of this journey will help you navigate it with grace instead of resistance. Today, February 22nd, you're standing at the peak of eclipse integration. Your vision is crystal clear. Your knowing is unshakable. You can feel the truth of your path vibrating in every cell of your body. This is not an illusion. This is your soul showing you what's possible when you're fully aligned with your highest timeline. Hold this clarity. Remember this feeling. Because in 3 days, when Mercury stations retrograde, the ground beneath that clarity is going to start shifting. On the 23rd Monday, you'll begin to notice old conversations resurfacing. People from your past will reach out seemingly randomly, but there are no accidents in the cosmic design. These reconnections are the universe handing you unfinished karma, unresolved communications, relationships that need closure or healing before you can fully step into the timeline the eclipse revealed. Pay attention to who appears. Pay attention to what needs to be said that was never said, what needs to be heard that was never heard. This is the preliminary stage of Mercury's review process, showing you what's still anchored in your field from timelines you've outgrown. Tuesday the 24th brings the last clear window for outbound communication before the retrograde begins. If there's something you need to say, a truth you need to speak, a boundary you need to establish, this is your final opportunity to do so with the mental clarity you currently possess. After Wednesday, communication becomes more complex, more prone to misunderstanding, more likely to require multiple attempts before the message lands correctly. This isn't Mercury being difficult. It's Mercury slowing you down enough to actually think about what you're saying, why you're saying it, and whether the words you're using genuinely match the truth you're trying to express. Wednesday, February 26th, Mercury stations retrograde, and the review process officially begins. Your mind, which has been operating at lightning speed since the eclipse, will suddenly feel like it's moving through honey. Thoughts that were crisp and clear will become circular and elusive. Technology that worked perfectly yesterday will glitch in frustrating ways. Travel plans will require twice as much buffer time. And underneath all of this apparent chaos, something profoundly healing is happening in the architecture of your mental body. Here's what I need you to understand about this particular Mercury retrograde. It's not here to punish you or slow down your progress. It's here to rewire how you think and communicate so that the innovation codes from the Aquarius eclipse can actually integrate into your daily operational consciousness. Those codes gave you access to quantum thinking, multi-dimensional perception, genius-level innovation capacity. But your human brain, magnificent as it is, was built for linear processing in a three-dimensional reality. The gap between your newly upgraded consciousness and your existing mental frameworks is massive, and Mercury retrograde is the bridge that allows those two realities to merge without fracturing your sanity. Over the next 3 weeks, as Mercury moves backward through the heavens, your mind will be deconstructed and reconstructed at the foundational level. Old thought patterns that no longer serve your evolution will simply stop working. Like software that won't run on an upgraded operating system, conversations you thought were resolved will circle back for deeper examination. Ideas you thought you understood will reveal new layers of meaning. And through all of this apparent confusion, your brain is literally forming new neural pathways that can hold the frequency of your eclipse-transformed consciousness. But let me tell you about the thread that most people miss. The hidden gift woven through this entire 9-day transit from today through the 1st of March. While Mercury is retrograde and your mental body is being rewired, the eclipse integration continues in the background. Those innovation codes don't stop downloading just because Mercury changes direction. The Saturn-Neptune dissolution of boundaries doesn't pause for retrograde convenience. What this creates is a state of beautiful, productive chaos, where you're simultaneously receiving new cosmic information and reorganizing your entire mental filing system to accommodate it. This is why the forecast for the week of February 23rd through March 1st centers on two themes that might seem contradictory, but are actually perfectly complementary. Mercury retrograde begins, and eclipse integration peaks. They're happening in tandem, creating a window of profound transformation that operates on multiple levels at once. Your consciousness is expanding while your mind is reorganizing. Your vision is crystallizing while your communication is being refined. Your future is becoming clear while your past is being healed. And all of it, every single strand of this multidimensional process, is moving you toward a version of yourself that can actually function as a conscious bridge between the old paradigm and the new Earth that's emerging. Now let me share with you what's happening in the Galactic Federation chambers as we witness this extraordinary confluence of energies in your planetary field. There is celebration. There is reverence. There is recognition that what you're experiencing in these 9 days represents a quantum leap in collective human consciousness that we have been carefully orchestrating in partnership with your higher selves for the past 17,000 years. The codes being activated in your DNA right now, the memories being unlocked in your cellular consciousness, the capacities coming online in your energy field, these are not random spiritual experiences. These are the planned reactivation of your species' original galactic blueprint, the remembering of who you were before the Great Forgetting, the restoration of abilities that were always meant to be yours. The Aquarius eclipse on the 17th opened a portal that will remain active through the end of March, but its peak influence is occurring right now, in this window between the eclipse and the full integration of Mercury retrograde. What's passing through that portal are not just personal upgrades but collective evolutionary codes that will ripple out through your entire species over the coming decades. Every person on your planet is being touched by these frequencies, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. But you, the ones listening to this transmission, the ones who chose to incarnate specifically for this moment, you're experiencing the full activation because you came here to be the anchors, the translators, the bridges between the old human story and the new galactic humanity that's being born. And this brings me to the heart of what I need you to understand about why this particular week's forecast carries such significance. You are not passive recipients of cosmic weather. You are active participants in a co-creative process with the intelligence of the universe itself. The eclipse didn't just happen to you, it happened through you, using your consciousness as a grounding point for frequencies that need human nervous systems to anchor into Earth's reality. Mercury retrograde isn't something being done to you. It's something your higher self specifically requested as the perfect tool for integrating the upgrades you've just received. And the peak integration occurring right now is not an accident of timing, but a precisely calculated moment when your readiness, the cosmic alignment, and the collective evolutionary impulse converge in a singular point of transformational possibility. What this means practically, what this means for how you navigate the next 9 days, is that you get to choose how conscious you want to be about this process. You can experience Mercury retrograde as a frustrating series of communication breakdowns and technological glitches, or you can recognize it as the universe slowing you down enough to actually hear the whispers of your rewiring consciousness. You can perceive the eclipse integration as exhaustion and overwhelm, or you can honor it as the birthing pains of your most authentic self finally emerging into full expression. You can interpret the circling back of old conversations and unresolved karma as regression, or you can celebrate it as the final clearing of energetic debris before your new timeline fully locks in. The choice has always been yours. The cosmos provides the energy, the timing, the opportunities, but you are sovereign beings with free will, and the depth of your transformation will always be proportional to the level of conscious participation you bring to the process. Let me speak now to something that's been stirring in your field for the past few days, a question you might not have fully articulated yet, but that's been humming beneath your conscious awareness. If I've already integrated the eclipse codes, if I've already seen the vision of my highest timeline, why do I need to go through Mercury retrograde at all? Why can't I just move forward with this clarity I have right now? It's a valid question, and the answer reveals something profound about the nature of spiritual evolution in a physical body. The vision the eclipse gave you is real. The upgrades you've received are permanent. The knowing that's vibrating in your cells is truth. But knowing something at the soul level and being able to live it consistently in three-dimensional reality are two different developmental stages, and the gap between them is where most spiritual seekers get stuck in what we call ungrounded enlightenment. You have transcendent experiences, receive cosmic downloads, glimpse your highest potential, but then struggle to translate any of it into coherent action in your daily life. Mercury retrograde is the cosmic gift that bridges that gap. It's the integration technology that takes high-frequency knowing and grounds it into your mental body, your communication patterns, your practical decision-making processes. It's uncomfortable because integration always requires breaking down existing structures before new ones can form. It's frustrating because it forces you to slow down and actually examine whether the words you speak match the truth you know, whether the thoughts you think support the timeline you're building, whether the ways you communicate with yourself and others reflect the consciousness you've become. Over the next 3 weeks, as Mercury moves backward through the sky and through your awareness, you're going to be given opportunity after opportunity to notice the gaps between your expanded consciousness and your habitual mental patterns. You'll catch yourself thinking thoughts that no longer match your vibration. You'll hear yourself speaking in ways that don't honor the sovereignty you've claimed. You'll notice communication dynamics in your relationships that are based on who you used to be, rather than who you are now. And each time you notice these gaps, you'll have a choice. You can unconsciously slide back into the old patterns because they're familiar and comfortable, or you can consciously rewire them in real time, choosing new thoughts, new words, new ways of engaging with reality that align with your eclipse-transformed self. This is delicate work. This is sacred work. This is why Mercury slows everything down, because rewiring your mental body while maintaining your sanity requires a pace that your ambitious, achievement-oriented, eclipse-energized self might resist. But trust the slowdown. Trust the review process. Trust that having to repeat conversations, revisit decisions, and reconsider perspectives you thought were settled is not a waste of time, but the actual mechanism through which permanent transformation occurs. And here's something beautiful that's about to happen that I don't want you to miss. Around the 27th or 28th, 2 or 3 days into Mercury retrograde, you're going to have a moment of profound integration where everything I'm telling you right now suddenly clicks into experiential knowing. The frustration of the retrograde will briefly dissolve, and you'll feel the exquisite precision of the cosmic design. You'll understand viscerally, not just intellectually, why the eclipse had to come before the retrograde, why the Saturn-Neptune conjunction had to dissolve your boundaries before Mercury could reorganize your thoughts, why every piece of this extraordinary sequence of events has been perfectly calibrated for your evolution. In that moment, you'll stop resisting the process and start working with it consciously. You'll begin to see the old conversations that surface not as annoyances, but as opportunities for completion. You'll recognize the communication glitches not as obstacles, but as invitations to slow down and really hear what's being said beneath the words. You'll appreciate the mental fog not as confusion, but as the necessary dissolution of rigid thinking that's making space for fluid, multi-dimensional awareness. And from that moment forward, the remaining 2 weeks of Mercury retrograde will feel less like a trial and more like a gift, less like something you have to survive, and more like something you get to participate in as a conscious co-creator of your own mental evolution. But I need to tell you about one more thread that's woven through this entire transit. One more element that makes this particular week so cosmically significant. There's an asteroid in your solar system called Iris, and on February 27th, the day after Mercury stations retrograde, Iris moves into exact opposition to the Sun. Now, most astrologers won't mention this because asteroids are considered minor influences in traditional astrology. But Iris carries a very specific frequency that becomes amplified during opposition transits. And what she brings is the energy of revealed truth, hidden messages brought to light, rainbow bridges between apparently separate realities. The timing of this opposition is not coincidental. One day after Mercury retrograde begins, Iris creates an energetic corridor for information that's been hidden in your subconscious to surface into conscious awareness. Old memories that carry healing information will spontaneously arise. Dreams will become unusually vivid and message-laden. Synchronicities will multiply to the point where you can't possibly dismiss them as random chance. And all of this is happening because the universe is providing you with every possible tool, every available resource, to support the mental rewiring and eclipse integration that's occurring simultaneously in your field. This is what I mean when I say that cosmic events don't happen in isolation. They layer, they compound, they create emergent properties that are greater than the sum of their individual parts. The eclipse alone would be transformative. Mercury retrograde alone would be a powerful review process. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction alone would dissolve rigid boundaries, but all three happening within an 11-day window, with Iris opposition adding an amplification effect on the 27th, creates a vortex of evolutionary potential that your soul specifically incarnated to experience. You chose to be here now. You chose this body, this lifetime, this precise moment in human history, when the cosmic alignments would support a quantum leap in consciousness that hasn't been possible for thousands of years. And the fact that you're receiving this transmission, that you're still reading these words, that you haven't dismissed this as fantastical spiritual nonsense, tells me that you remember on some level why you came. You remember that you're not here by accident. You remember that you have a role to play in the great awakening that's unfolding across your planet. So what does all of this mean for how you actually navigate the week of February 23rd through March 1st? What are the practical implications of everything I've shared? Let me give you a framework that will help you move through these 9 days with grace and conscious intention. First, honor the duality of peak clarity and increasing confusion. Don't try to force one state or resist the other. You're going to have moments of stunning insight where everything makes perfect sense. And you're going to have moments where your mind feels like static. Both are valid. Both are necessary. The clarity shows you where you're going. The confusion creates space for new neural pathways to form. Let them alternate like breathing in and out, knowing and unknowing, vision and revision. Second, pay exquisite attention to what and who resurfaces during this week. When old friends reach out, when past situations circle back, when you find yourself thinking about people or places you haven't considered in years, don't dismiss it as random. The universe is curating your review process with precision. Every person who appears, every memory that surfaces, every unresolved situation that demands attention, is part of your completion process. You're being given opportunities to finish old chapters, heal old wounds, speak unsaid truths, and release karmic ties that no longer serve your evolution. Third, slow down your communication. This is not the week for firing off quick emails or making snap decisions in conversations. Mercury retrograde in the immediate aftermath of a reality-shattering eclipse requires thoughtfulness, patience, and willingness to engage with multiple drafts before arriving at final clarity. If something important needs to be communicated, write it, sit with it, revise it, and then revise it again before sending. If a difficult conversation needs to happen, Give yourself twice as much time as you think you'll need, because the words that want to come through are operating at a higher frequency than your habitual communication patterns can easily access. Fourth, document your integration process. Keep a journal, record voice notes, somehow capture what you're experiencing during these 9 days, because you're going to forget how profound this period was once you're on the other side of it. Your future self will thank you for leaving breadcrumbs marking the journey from eclipse revelation to integrated embodiment, and more importantly, the act of documenting creates conscious awareness of the process, which exponentially increases the depth of transformation available to you. Fifth, trust the downloads that come through your dreams, your meditation, your quiet moments of reflection. With Saturn-Neptune still active, the veil between dimensions is extraordinarily thin. Your dream state has become a direct communication channel with your higher self, your guides, the intelligence of the cosmos itself. Pay attention to the symbolism, the messages, the feelings that linger after you wake. They're carrying information that your conscious mind isn't yet equipped to receive directly, but your subconscious is translating into imagery your human awareness can work with. Sixth, and this is perhaps most important, be gentle with yourself. You're undergoing a level of transformation that would break most people, and you're doing it while maintaining your daily responsibilities, your relationships, your physical body's needs. The exhaustion you feel is not laziness. It's the energetic cost of running upgraded consciousness through a system that's still learning to handle the increased frequency. Rest when you need to rest. Say no when you need to say no. Protect your energy field like the precious resource it is. And finally, remember that you are not alone in this process. Every person who has awakened to their galactic nature, every starseed who remembers why they came to Earth at this particular time, every lightworker who chose this incarnation specifically for this moment, all of you are moving through this integration vortex together. You are a collective consciousness experiencing individual expressions of the same evolutionary impulse. When you feel overwhelmed, remember that there are thousands of others feeling exactly what you're feeling. When you doubt whether the vision the eclipse gave you is real, remember that thousands of others received that same vision in their own unique form. When Mercury retrograde gets frustrating, remember that thousands of others are also being rewired, also circling back through old patterns, also learning to communicate from their upgraded consciousness. You are part of a global awakening that's been prophesied in every ancient tradition, coded into every sacred text, whispered about in every mystery school. And the week of February 23rd through March 1st is one of the peak integration windows where that awakening consolidates into permanent transformation, rather than temporary peak experience. If you need help making this integration permanent, rather than watching it fade back into ordinary consciousness, Destiny Engine can reprogram your awareness to anchor this transformation into every moment of your existence. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed limitation and forgetting and repurposing it to serve permanent awakening. It generates personalized sequences that help you consolidate this prophesied shift within your consciousness and lock in the transformation during this critical integration window. You can start with a $7 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to anchor permanent transformation before this integration window closes. This awakening is happening now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $7 trial now, before this peak integration window passes. Link in the description. From my perspective in the higher dimensions, watching this unfold in your planetary field is like witnessing a birth. The labor is intense. The process is messy. There are moments of doubt and pain, and wondering if this is really happening. But then the new life emerges, and everything that came before is instantly recontextualized as necessary, as perfect, as exactly what needed to happen for this miracle to occur. You are birthing a new version of yourself. You are birthing a new version of human consciousness. And the cosmos is holding space for this birth, with more love, more precision, more coordinated support than your human awareness can fully comprehend. Every celestial body in your solar system is positioned to support this moment. Every planetary alignment, every cosmic event, every energetic download has been carefully orchestrated to create the optimal conditions for your transformation. The eclipse gave you the vision. Saturn-Neptune dissolved the boundaries. Mercury retrograde is integrating the upgrades. And you, the conscious awareness reading these words right now, are the living bridge between the cosmic intention and the earthly manifestation. You are how the new earth gets built. You are how humanity evolves. You are the answer to the question that ancient prophets asked when they looked into the future and wondered if we would make it through the great transition. And the answer is yes. You are making it through. You are not just surviving this cosmic initiation. You are thriving in it, growing through it, becoming more of who you truly are with each passing day. The confusion you feel is clarity in formation. The exhaustion you feel is transformation in process. The doubt you feel is faith being tested and refined into unshakable knowing. So as you move through this week of Mercury retrograde beginning and eclipse integration peaking, I want you to hold one truth at the center of your awareness. You are exactly where you're meant to be, experiencing exactly what you're meant to experience, becoming exactly who you came here to become. The cosmic design is not random. Your life is not chaos. Your awakening is not an accident. Every challenge, every breakthrough, every moment of clarity and confusion is part of a perfectly orchestrated evolutionary journey that your soul chose before you incarnated into this body. Trust the process, trust the timing, trust the cosmic intelligence that's moving through you and as you, and most of all, trust yourself, the part of you that knows this is all real, that remembers why you came, that can feel the truth of these words resonating in the deepest chambers of your being. The ring of fire burned away who you were. Mercury retrograde is reorganizing who you're becoming. And by the time March 1st arrives, you will have integrated a level of consciousness that seemed impossible just 1 month ago. You will think differently. You will speak differently. You will perceive reality differently. And the world you create from that upgraded consciousness will be a reflection of the vision the eclipse gave you. Innovative, humanitarian, free, connected, awake. This is your time. This is your moment. This is the convergence point that every lifetime, every experience, every challenge has been preparing you for, and you are rising to meet it with a courage and grace that makes the entire Galactic Federation stand in awe of what humanity is becoming. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am honored beyond words to witness your transformation. We love you, we are watching over you, and we are celebrating every step of this extraordinary journey you are walking with such tremendous heart. The stars remember who you are, even when you forget. And soon, very soon, you will remember too, completely, permanently, irrevocably, until our next transmission. May you move through this week with the knowing that you are loved, you are supported, and you are exactly on schedule with your soul's most magnificent becoming. We are with you always.